Hello everybody, this is Edward and welcome to Maya tutorials. This is going to be a basic tutorial on Maya interface. Assuming that you guys have not opened Maya before, this is the first time you're opening Maya and this is what you are seeing. So we're gonna sort of break it down so it's easier to understand what's happening. Initially you will see that there is a lot of pretty icons everywhere and it's very easy to get lost. So let's break it down. One thing that let's go ahead and do this. Let me just go to the display here under UI elements and we're gonna come back to that, and I'm just gonna say hide all UI elements, so that way we are seeing a much simpler UI user interface and it's easier to understand what's going on here. I guess first we should talk about basic navigation tools, which is by holding an Alt key in Maya we would use a left mouse button to rotate, a middle mouse button to pan, and a right mouse button to zoom. You can definitely also use a scroll wheel if your mouse has a scroll wheel to zoom. And there is another trick, especially for those who are using a Wacom tablet. You can actually zoom by pressing both left and middle mouse button together. So left and middle will also give you a zoom option. It's an old feature that came from initial Maya alias Maya. So this is how we used to zoom before. So it's definitely more convenient when you're using a Wacom tablet. So if you need to review some of that information, you don't need me for that. You can always go to help and click on learning movies and it will walk you through some basic operations like zoom, pan and roll, move, rotate and scale and so forth. So but let's get going. So as I said, most of the features that you have seen in a user interface here, all these other icons, those are practically shortcuts that will allow you to access some functions and some commands faster than reaching over to the main menu. So up at the top you can see that we still have a main menu, and the main menu is broken into two sections. It's got sort of a static or global menus. Those are more generic, something that you may be already familiar with by using other softwares, even simple softwares like Notepad, like File, Edit, Modify, Create, Display, Windows. Those kind of feel generic, and Help, of course. Anything in between here, all these menus, they will change based on the module you're in. So if you need to switch to, let's say, a animation module, for that you either need to access a switch through a status line, which is the next bar that we would see right here. So the status line will allow us to switch through different menus, but for now I'm gonna hide it. And one other way how we can switch through these different modules is by using hotkeys. So let's start using hotkeys right away. So it's gonna be F2, F3, F4, F5, F6. And this will switch you through the main modules. So as you can see, F2 is an animation, F3 is a poly modeling, F4 is a surfaces or NURB modeling, F5 is dynamics, and F6 is rendering. Again, as I said before, here under the display UI elements, here is our status line, and this is where we can switch through these menus. The next thing I should say is whenever we are well, besides the main menu, which what I said has all these different tools that are either global or module specific. The other thing here is what we are seeing here actually is a perspective view. So perspective view is basically our workspace. This is where we work, and the perspective view is part of a panel. So you can see this is this window here is a panel, and it's got its own little set of menus that are mainly deal with how things are displayed in the perspective in this particular view, in this particular panel. If we hit spacebar, it will switch to a 4 view mode. So here we're actually seeing our orthographic views, top, front, and side, and you can see that each panel has its own menu, which is again where we can control what we are seeing, what we're not seeing. For example, if we don't want to see a grid in a top menu, we would go to Show and click on Grid. This is kind of one way of controlling your environment. So a lot of times our environment gets busy with objects, and this is how we can control or clear out our workspace a little bit, so we can concentrate on a specific element. And again, all of these icons here, they practically do exactly the same thing as what you can find under the menus, and I highly recommend that you first start using the menus, and then as you get used to the functions and you know what they are, you can start using the icons because they may be quicker. But until you know and learn all the tools, all the functions, and how they're called, I don't recommend using the icons, because it is important that not only you learn how to use Maya, you also need to understand and learn the language terminology. So, and we're gonna go through all these functions. So again, a spacebar will maximize and minimize a window, whichever window you're in. So if right now I clicked on the front view, hit spacebar, it will expand the front view. Hit spacebar again, it will minimize the front view and bring that back into the four section window. So and we can actually load anything into our panels. So a panel can have a front view, a panel can have some other things, like maybe we can load in some other editors in here. So remember that the panel is not necessarily tied to a specific view. Panel is just a window, and then you can load anything, well, not anything, but the editors or other cameras into this view. So for example, here is our UV texture editor, which will again at some point in this tutorial we're gonna get into. But by default we get orthographic what was that, front view. That's the default. Okay, so the main thing here is that just wanted to kind of break the major features down for you, so you kind of know how to navigate in a window and you know what these windows are. And as we progress, we're gonna go through each section and each function and learn more about each one of them. Thank you.